US-2 is one of the hardest to find accessories for a vintage Roland guitar synth system. The US-2 is the only device Roland ever made that lets one guitar play two vintage synths. The US-2 Turbo is a modified Roland US-2 designed to be used with the RC1324VR 13 to 24 pin guitar synth converter. The first thing you notice about the US-2 Turbo is that the rare 24-pin connectors have been replaced by common DB 25-pin connectors. This allows the US-2 Turbo to be used with commonly available 25-pin cables in place of the ultra-rare, very expensive proprietary Roland 24-pin cables. Mounting the DB 25-pin connectors to the US-2 are custom machined plates made from strong, lightweight aircraft aluminum. The machine plates have the same size and screw hole dimensions as the original Roland 24-pin connectors, making them an easy retrofit for vintage Roland gear. Rewiring the US-2 with the 25-pin connectors provided access to the circuitry inside the US-2. This gave me the opportunity to address one of the biggest problems with the original US-2, the lack of independent controls for each synth. For example, if you were playing a GR-300 and GR-100, the filter and resonance controls on the guitar affected each synth equally. There was no way to have different control settings for each synth, which really limited what a multi-synth vintage system was capable of. In 2011, I made a one-off unit called the US-3X, which addressed this problem by providing optional independent controls for filter, resonance, and LFO. Building on that experience, this US-2 has 3 additional 1/4-inch input jacks on the side. With nothing plugged in, this US-2 works like any standard US-2. Turning the controls in the RC1324VR affect both synth A and B equally. But by plugging a standard Roland EV5 pedal into the US-2 Turbo, you enable independent control over filter, resonance, and LFO for Synthesizer B. The foot pedal input controls only affect Synthesizer B and do not affect Synthesizer A. In this demo, I'm using a Parker PM-10 with a modern Roland GK2 pickup to play a Roland GR-300 and GM-70 at the same time. The GM-70 is MIDI to a Korg Kronos. The controls on the RC1324VR adjust filter, resonance, and LFO on the GR-300, and the foot pedals plugged into the US-2 Turbo control filter, resonance, and LFO on the Korg Kronos. The DB 25-pin connector on the GM-70 is wired to an original Roland 24-pin ribbon connector, so this assembly can easily be removed from this GM-70, say, and installed in a different vintage analog Roland synth, like a Roland GR-700. And the bass on this track was provided by connecting the RC1324VR to a Korg Z3, a great guitar synthesizer with fast response time and many outstanding sounds, including a dynamic